close that. Boom. All right. Cool. We're cool, monkey? Are you cool? You got a little butt? Do you have a little dog butt? No. Okay. All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome. It is Houston with a Problem. And today's Monday. Today's 530. That's crazy. And welcome aboard. Ryan Cohen yesterday changed his profile picture, and that made everyone go, whoa! And it's of a jumbled up American flag cut into ribbons and whatever. And there's lots of little things that seem to be superimposed on it, including the sonogram picture from his tweet from a couple years ago where he posted a picture of a little baby in a sonogram saying, the last time people were excited to see me. And that seemed to imply that he was involved with Baby at the time, Bye Bye Baby. And this seems to cement the fact that he's still involved with Bye Bye Baby. So, there you go. Any other big things, Monkey? Anything happen? Anything? I'm sure people talk about it in the talk about it time. I gotta do the raffle. I'll do the raffle here in a second. Again, I've got another tiny shirt on today, but it's a Tory Richards shirt, which is my favorite shirt company. Tory Richards makes the coolest shirts in existence. And this one is about to explode because it is made for somebody who's probably like 5'6", and the buttons are straining, man. I have to maintain my posture. If I don't, it's gonna like break a camera lens. Okay, so we'll just do that real quick. And turn it off. There we go. I think everything's off. I hope. So, I've been forgetting to do the raffle. I'm a doofus. So let's do the raffle. Yes. Oh, Chrome's already up. Sweet. Okay. So, got everyone's names in the name doohickey. Monkey make some nice, lovely, crunchy sounds while we do this. Random name picker. Boom. Shabam. Shabing. Back. Okay, so I got everybody in here. What we're doing, we draw one name, right? Or one number. Well, one name gets the number, and then we find out what 50-cent wish prize they get. So, who's it gonna be? Go. Mark Wood! Mark Wood wins. What does Mark Wood win? Mark Wood wins. There's only 3 of them left, I think. 4 of them left. Come on, give me one. You. Number 1. Mark Wood wins number 1. What is number 1 gonna be? I don't know. But number 1 goes in the trash. Over here. Oh, I still gotta mail all this crap. Number 1. Number 1. It's a little guy. It's a little guy. It's feels like a box. It's got yay big box. I don't know what that is. Mark Wood. You have to send me either on like Twitter or Reddit. Send me a shipping address, and we will unbox whatever this is. We'll find out. So, send it my way, and we'll find out what's in there for you, Mark Wood. Or if you don't want it, whatever that is, we'll do another drawing. I still got the names in here, so we're good to go. Okay, fine. That only took 3.5 weeks. Okay. To the chats. Wait, I think I saw John Castro, member chat. Happy birthday, Jason. What would you do with $4.8 billion if you were RC, and how is the progress on shipping out the 500th gifts? Well, since the starter is out on my car, I'm waiting for a starter to arrive. So I haven't had a chance to pile the gifts into the car like I'd hoped. So maybe a family member will be gracious enough to let me spend 2 hours of their day and take their car and drop everything off. I've got everything packaged. It's all ready to ship. I just have to spend 2 hours at the post office, like, mailing everything. So, that's going. What would I do if I had $4.8 billion? If I had $4.8 billion, I would disappear to a beach somewhere and no one would ever see me again. If I were RC with $4.8 billion that belonged to the company, I would file with the SEC. Well, first of all, I would take over Bed Bath. I would give out cash to all of the shareholders, of the previous shareholders, pay off all the debts, and then I would file for like a 10 million share sale and let that sucker squeeze like nobody's business and then sell at the top of the squeeze. Those 10 million shares, and then have like a $1 kajillion that you could do all sorts of other plays with. That's what I would do if I were RC. It'd be pretty darn easy. You have those, you give out $40 a share to people, right? Boom, floor price $40 on the shares. You then do warrants, right, at say a penny each or something for each share that they have. So bam, they now have like twice as many shares as they want, and those warrants are worth a fortune. And then you do an offering of 10 million shares that you don't sell until you start to see really crooked numbers come off of the warrants and the shares themselves. So you watch that sucker squeeze, then you sell those 10 million shares at $1,000 each, get $10 billion. All right, you just doubled your money. And you didn't have to do anything really for it. Sweet. And now you can make multiple plays with that money. Now you have $10 billion and it makes the floor price for everything just insane. That's what I would do. Okay. Zoom, I got to open up. First. Michael Steegs. First. No. Case Chapman, third. Yes. Michael Steegs, second. That's true. The Chill Face, third. No. Colin, second. Nope. Thoughts on that gold claim in Greece, Houston? The number seems wild. Looked it up, and they are publicly traded. Keeping an eye on the ticker for shits and giggles. I think there's some sort of misreporting. There's a gold strike made in the region where like the ancient Greeks were mining for gold, and they're claiming there's 740,000 tons of gold. In order to put that in perspective, bing. Wait, kitten, you up here enjoying me? Yeah? Okay. Kitten wants to help out. Okay, I'll turn off the calculator intro. Bam. Nope, don't you drink my water. You little monster. You're trying to eat everybody's food and drink all their water. So go up there. Go up there. Just go up there. There you go. Scene. Turn off the Chrome. Bam. Calculator. Okay. So, 740,000 tons. Let me put this in perspective for you. The largest gold strike in human history for a single mine is 50 million ounces. 50 million ounces. That's a lot. I mean, that's in today's dollars. That's like $125 billion. It is a lot. Maybe almost $150 billion now. So that's huge for a gold strike. 50 million ounces is nowhere near 740,000 tons. 740,000 tons is like the global equivalent of all the gold that's been mined ever. So let's look at that. 740. Oops. Why does it always want to double click on me? 740,000 tons. A ton is 2,000 pounds, right? Doop. Bong. Bing, bing. Bing. Okay, now we're looking at 1,480,000,000 pounds of gold. That is a lot of gold, right? Okay, gold's trading what, $2,700 an ounce? And there's 12 troy ounces per pound. So that's 17 billion troy ounces. Remember, the largest gold strike in human history is 50 million ounces for a single mine. The entire California gold rush was like 120 million ounces. Okay? The entire Klondike gold rush was 12 million ounces. This Greek mine, in the report they put out, claims that they have reserves of 17 billion ounces. Okay. At $2,700 an ounce puts it at almost $48 trillion. So more than half of the entire global GDP tied up in one gold mine in Greece. I think that they did something wrong in their math. I just don't. Maybe when they said 740,000 tons, maybe they meant 740,000 kilograms. Because there's just no way, unless you've gone out and you've captured an iron nickel asteroid that is 100 miles across. There's no way you're going to get that much gold out of a mountain in Greece. You just aren't. I'm sure that's a large gold strike, but I don't think it's as large as has been reported because it just seems kind of physically impossible. So, no, I don't think that they've got $48 trillion in gold in that mountain. It would be a hell of an investment if they did. I'll be honest. They would not be wanting for investors if that were the case. So, no, I don't think so. It's probably a good gold strike, but I think it's been misreported. Carver Walnut Super Chats. Have you ever heard of scram devices? I don't know how it works, but judges give them out like candy, and it sounds similar to No Lab's new thing. I think the scram devices are like the ankle monitors that make sure you aren't drinking. I'm not sure exactly what they use for it. I think you can sweat alcohol out, and it can measure like through the moisture. But we can look it up. How does scram device work? A secure continuous remote alcohol monitor uses transdermal alcohol testing to detect alcohol in a person's sweat. Boom, sweat. There we go. Yep, alcohol is coming out of the sweat, so it's looking at the moisture that's building up on your skin to see if you've been drinking alcohol or not. Scram device, like a bracelet worn around the ankle, samples the wearer's perspiration for alcohol every 30 minutes. Device uses a cell to test the sample for alcohol. The device also has temperature and infrared sensors to ensure the bracelet is in place and that nothing has been placed between the skin and the bracelet. All right, yeah, because I've known some drunks that have been forced by the courts to wear these things. Yeah, so oftentimes if you get like a DUI, you may get one of those scram devices as well as a breathalyzer in your car. So we'll see if the handle thingy, that's not using sweat, that's using radio waves to penetrate the skin and get the reflection off of the compound of alcohol in a person's bloodstream. So similar results, different method, right? So, okay. All right. Sweat. Boom. Get Jetman. Tell me we're close, Houston. I'm so goddamn tired of the people in the BB Boy play. I feel you guys. Especially like, you know, the people who aren't white in this play. You guys have to put up a lot of shit. I have blue eyes and white skin, and, you know, I can easily just blend in when needed. The folks who can't, you guys have to see just garbage day in, day out from a lot of folks involved in this play. And it's hurtful, it's racist, it's awful. And I totally get it. I want to be done with it so I don't have to deal with some of the people that are involved in this thing. I don't have to see their tweets. I don't have to like listen to them say awful things, you know, post just terrible racist crap. Yeah, just come on, man. Just let this thing be done so we can be done. And, you know, if anything, hang out with the cool ones. Cull the rest of them. Because, as I said, I'm so tired, boss. Michael Steegs, Houston, bought 165,000 more No Labs today. Directly executed, whereas in the past I had to overbid to sell. Market maker, or is it the company itself? I think the company finished whatever current sale they had going on like a month ago. I don't think this is. So you're buying from probably some market maker at that point. It'd be interesting to see what the failures to deliver look like in a couple weeks when those pop out for No Labs. Michael Steeg's meant to buy. I think yeah. Overbid to buy. I get it. Yes. Saint Sapiens is first, but Saint Sapien was not first. Michael Steegs, Houston. I saw an interview from Spy Behind Steele Dossier today. He said European leaders are scared what can happen if Trump gets reelected. It feels like humanity is at an important crossroads. Oh, for Christopher Steele, can you, if you wouldn't mind, can you send me a link to that interview? I'd love to see it. For a reminder, you'll see lots of things out there about the Steele Dossier, about how it's just fake and nothing, it was real and whatever. Trump went to the UK and he sued Christopher Steele for defamation and lost. UK has incredibly easy to win defamation laws. And if you lose a defamation suit in the UK, So that should be remembered. So far, nothing in the Steele dossier has been proven absolutely false. The closest was in the dossier. Steele wrote down that Michael Cohen had flown to, I believe it was Prague, to meet with hackers, Guccifer 2.0, and pay them $50,000. And Michael Cohen said, no, that's not true. That didn't happen at all. But his cell phone pinged in Prague. he had made some posts from Southern California about, because his son was like going to play baseball at USC. But his cell phone actually pinged in Prague during that time. So, And then there was an airplane associated with what he had chartered to go there. Right. But other than that, like, not a single thing in the Steele dossier has been proven beyond a shadow of doubt as being false. If anything, things have not been proven at all, because we've not seen the evidence from what was made by the claims of Kremlin insiders and whatnot in that dossier. So that's a pretty interesting thing. I would love to see that interview though, and I can imagine that the European leaders are absolutely scared because Putin has said categorically he wants to recreate the Soviet Union again, meaning he wants Latvia, Lithuania, Estonia as part of Ukraine and Russia, Georgia and Kazakhstan and Kyrgyzstan and Turkmenistan and all those nations as back to being part of the Soviet Union again, as well as the forceful, what would you term it, puppet states, Romania, Bulgaria, Czechoslovakia, Yugoslavia, those nations all kind of brought back under the umbrella of the Soviet Union as part of the Iron Curtain. So yeah, these European nations that got out from under the Soviets do not want to go back under a strongman again. And Putin has said that he wants to get the band back together, right? So I have little doubt that Trump would try to torpedo NATO again. He tried it once, actually a couple times. And so that the Article 5 can never be enacted. And, Putin is flirting with Article 5 territory. There's been some explosive drones that have crashed in like Poland, violate airspace in Romania. Like, it is pretty touchy. Violate airspace in Sweden and Norway recently, several times. I think what Europeans need to do is make a show of it. A few years ago, some Russian, what was it? It's like a MiG-29 or something was violating airspace regularly over Turkey, and Turkey just shot it down. They told Russia not to do it. Russia was like, "Oh, what are you going to do about it?" And then Turkey shot it down, and then Russia has not violated airspace in Turkey since. I think if a Russian jet is going to violate airspace over Sweden or Norway or anywhere else, you just shoot it down. And then Russia learns their lesson. You cannot be like, don't do that, because if you just say that and not show them any actions, they're going to push the bar as far as they can. It's a bully state run by an authoritarian dictator. He will try to take as much as he can, and he'll push the limits until he can't push it anymore. So the only way you confine him again is to push right back. So yeah, the Europeans have every right to be absolutely terrified of this. Hey, Mikey, what's up? What are you doing? You staring at that kitten? Okay. Chris Taylor, yo RC, what the fuck? Yeah, so RC's flag picture change coincided with some disinformation about the election. Basically, there's a betting site called Polymarket, and we talked briefly about Polymarket, but the CEO actually wrote me over on Wednesday last week, and he was like, because I was talking about how Polymarket is a bunch of bullshit run by Peter Thiel, Bond villain, and are juking the stats in order to convince a whole bunch of people that Trump is like gonna landslide this thing when he's not. Let's see if we can find a message from CEO of Polymarket here. Messages. Okay. Here we go. Shane Copeland, CEO of a multi-billion-dollar company, messaging Houston Wade here. All right. Let's bam. Okay. So Shane I someone posted about Polymarket showing that Trump is going to win, and I was like, this is bullshit. And explained several ways this is bullshit. And so the CEO of this multi-billion-dollar company, that again is registered offshore, they're not an American company because they're violating lots of American laws right now. Shane Copeland writes me, can you explain what you mean? And then I wrote back, can I explain what I mean by your company owned by Nazi Peter Thiel and a bunch of Kremlin oligarchs having Nate Silver juke the stats so that a bunch of MAGA morons believe Trump has a chance in the election and then bet their life savings on your platform with that confidence? You get two things out of it. One, their money, and two, you can help Thiel foment another insurrection or worse when Trump inevitably gets obliterated on election day. So he saw it and he left me on read. So he asked me to explain what I meant, and I explained what I meant, and he had no comment. Since that time, a lot more accounts, more prestigious and related to journalists and legal experts than I, have been pointing out that if you are an American and you are involved in Polymarket, you may be facing federal charges for election interference, for misrepresenting yourself as an agent of a foreign nation, things like that, or we're not filing as a foreign agent. These dudes might be in a lot of trouble, especially if Trump loses. So, oops. Yeah. So, anyways, RC posted the stats from this, and what it appears that Polymarket is doing is, if you look at the polls, Harris is going to win the popular vote by a very large margin, probably 2 to 5%. She's ahead in most polls in most swing states, especially Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Virginia, Arizona, Nevada, those big ones. She has a chance in North Carolina, Georgia, and Florida to make it just a rout. And but Polymarket is saying no. And what this is doing is it's causing people who are pro-Trump to bet a lot of money on this gambling market overseas with crypto that Trump is going to win. And if you own this company and you give false data as to the odds, which is against the law. Casinos and online gambling places get busted for this stuff a lot by posting fake odds. And your clients lose, then you keep their money, right? They're not saying it's like, oh, it's a 50-50 shot, which is closer to reality, but it's more probably 60-40 in favor of Harris at this point. But they're giving odds, it's like 70% Trump. Even though he's not leading in any of these swing states. So, but anyway, coinciding with the change of Ryan Cohen's profile picture, he put the Polymarket bullshit in there. I don't know what his end goal with that is, but the stats do not comply. Okay. Keith Chapman, what's the difference between pink cocaine and regular cocaine? Julius just sent this to me. So that dude from One Direction who fell out the window, apparently he was having a psychotic episode while on pink cocaine, And pink cocaine is cocaine that's been like the impurities are psychedelics. And so he was having a manic hyper hallucinogenic moment. And rather than being like, hey, let's get this guy to a safe space, they're like, why don't you go up to the top floor and jump out a window? So that appears to be what happened. So don't do pink cocaine. Don't do cocaine. It makes you an asshole in the first place. Pink cocaine will make you think you can fly. I don't suggest that. I suggest like staying away from the hard drugs, because the consequences are usually like deviated septums or jumping out of buildings, and you know, we don't want to do like the opening scene to Lethal Weapon for people. Just chill out, baby. Case Chapman super chats. So what's the payout in power market? I bet if I bet on Kamala, the odds on Kamala are really good. It's what, 3 to 1 or something, I think, in Polymarket if you bet on Kamala. So if you're betting on Kamala, where she actually does have a much larger chance of winning the election, you're going to get a much bigger payout than you will on Trump, who actually doesn't have good odds to win the election. So at this point, you know, I think you could bet on both and come out ahead with Kamala when she wins anyway. So there you go. Case Chapman, only foreigners can bet. It's true, because it's illegal in the U.S., but through crypto you can do anything, right? So you put your crypto into a wallet, you can bet all day long. That's kind of what they do. GDC, you don't want your name anywhere near your thing. Yeah, you do not. You do not want your name associated with Polymarket. You'll probably have visits from the IRS, from the FBI, probably have like FISA warrants on your house. I would avoid having your name associated with anything with Polymarket. If you're talking shit about Polymarket, that's probably the safest bet you can make in this whole thing. Yeah. Shane Copeland, you are toast. I lost my spot again. Where was I? Oh, Lisa Sa. Donald Trump, publicity stunt at McDonald's serving MAGA customers. Do you think he's ever eaten a McDonald's meal? Oh, that's all he eats. He eats McDonald's almost every meal for probably the last 40 years or so. At least 35 years. So Trump is apparently super paranoid about being poisoned. And so he doesn't like the idea of people he knows or know that they're serving him to like get ready ahead of time and then poison him. So usually he orders McDonald's from random McDonald's and has it delivered because they won't know it's him. So he'll send somebody out, have them go pick up a bunch of McDonald's food for him, and then he's not the one picking it up. Therefore, his enemies can't poison him. And so instead he's slowly poisoning himself by eating, 2 to 3 McDonald's meals a day. So he definitely eats McDonald's all the time. And he also likes well-done steak with ketchup on it because he's a monster. I mean, if you can afford for your meals, if you could afford, A5 Wagyu ribeye or filet mignon every meal of your entire life, and you cook that thing to shoe leather and put ketchup on it, what kind of toddler are you? I mean, it's like buying a brand new Bugatti and then taking it to an off-road track. It's just not. It's not what you do, man. I'm gonna 4x4 this thing. It doesn't make any sense to me. It pains my heart to know that when he does eat steak, he does it well done with ketchup. Anyway, to each their own, I guess. Snort alert. Oh, Houston. Do you still think crypto will collapse first? I do. Thanks in advance. We've had a big spike. Crypto got up over $69,000, yesterday? Now it's down to like 67, 66. It seems to be pumping pretty hard in there. When these hedge funds are in trouble because they can't use crypto as leverage anymore, they can't use it as collateral on their short plays, they're going to have to sell it for cash because they then can use the cash to make up for whatever margin difference they have. So yeah, I still think crypto is going to be a big old canary in the coal mine for that. Kevin Renan, happy birthday, Houston. Infighting all weekend. Russian oligarch Mikhail Rogachev takes a fall from 11 floors up. Buffett indicator over 200. My fantasy football team takes a dump. What does it all mean? We close? Just another day in the life, man. Just another day in the life. My fantasy football team, I think only won because Denver's defense went all bonkers, and I was expecting to get like 5 points, and I got 20 out of that, and then boom, winner, chicken dinner. Yeah, it's all randomness, right, little buddy? Right? How's your day going? Play with the cat, ate some food, went outside. Yeah, pretty standard, day in, day out for that dog. Yeah, a lot of infighting, a lot of. There's when someone posts kind of racist things, you're going to get the anger and the diatribe and all that stuff. I noticed Bill Pulte today was complaining about foreign interference in our election, but it's Trumpers who keep getting arrested for not registering as a foreign agent. He's like, these people need to register as a foreign agent. Well, yeah, the Trump people keep taking money from Russians. You need to register as foreign agents because that's the law. So if you're going to pay a bunch of money to Jordan Peterson, Tucker Carlson, Tim Pool, I can't remember all the other folks, like you are getting paid by a foreign nation to spout propaganda in favor of that foreign nation and a particular candidate who also might be favored by that foreign nation. Yes, you should all register. Lisa Saw, do you think No Labs will need to reverse split to get out of the penny stock pricing territory and maintain its listing? Pricing has nothing to do with it maintaining its listing on the New York Stock Exchange. It has to do with overall value of the company and cash on hand. And so when they got their notice from the New York Stock Exchange that they were not in non-compliance, it was because they didn't have, I think they needed $6 million cash on hand in order to maintain listing, and they were below that. But they could, so they could raise money and get that $6 million cash and just keep that sitting there, or they could do a joint venture partnership with another corporation that then has that money cash on hand. And it appears that's what they did last week, is that they did a joint partnership agreement with a company for the steering wheels that can measure blood alcohol level, and that should theoretically put them into good standing again on their listing. We'll know more on Friday. They're doing a shareholder call on Friday, and then Sunday, I believe they're required to submit to the New York Stock Exchange their solution, which my guess has to do with the joint venture partnership. Brandon Wells, Sub No Labs, did that one. And BBBY seems to be crossing a lot of T's and dotting a lot of I's here. They did the amendment on the restructuring plan last week to allow them to settle one of the lawsuits. There seems to be a lot of cash coming in and a lot of elimination from the unsecured creditors, a lot of claims. So they're just taking those things off, and that thing's getting whittled down and down and down. At some point, all the unsecured claims will be taken care of. Most of the unsecured claims that still exist, I think, have to do with gift cards. And a lot of those are trying to make those administrative, but they're all being moved to unsecured, and then we'll figure out exactly what they actually owe in the end. Fabrizio's plopping. Dark Horse, anyone watch Cult of the Dead stock? Cult of the Dead stock. I don't know what that is, so no, I'm not. Daniel Motes, Houston. Is No Lab a killer buy, or are they going to go bankrupt, you think? I don't think bankruptcy is really on the table because they're backed by some very, very, very wealthy people, and they have some very, 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 very wealthy people on their board who don't back losers. Every company Ron Erickson has founded has been like Cinderella's. Egghead Software. That was a 1980s just rocket ship. Double Down Interactive, poker websites and all those things that they owned. He made $500 million off that. So No Labs they're poised. They just need to file their FDA, and I just hope that it's going to be this quarter. It would be so wonderful if it was. And because they did the joint partnership, they're now actually it sounds like they pretty much finished the technology on the glucose monitor side. Now they're going to start applying the technology to other aspects and other cash cows, like being able to measure THC levels in people, using it for chemical traces at airports, using it to measure virus load inside of people. Like, they can start tuning these little devices and getting more and more data and focusing on things. I'm not sure how tunable the device will be individually, or if they just have circuit boards set to certain wavelengths to measure these micron, submicron sized things in people's bodies and in the earth. And in just imagine like getting a DARPA contract from the Department of Defense, because you can build a device that can fly over with a satellite or a U-2 or whatever over Iran, and it could penetrate 100 meters into ground and can tell you exactly what kind of nuclear material is underground at that point. That would be incredible, right? So there's... Hey, fat guy, when'd you get in here? Katakiriki. Yeah! Oh, now I'm just going to go up there and get in my way. All right, well. Let you get settled on the papers there, and then I can read again. Yep, there you go. Okay, at least sitting down. Okay, so don't rub your head on that camera. That's the one that focuses on me. GDC, RC is too smart of a businessman to do business with Elon or Donald Trump, right? Regardless of his dumbass political leanings, RC is still a smart businessman, right? I don't think Elon or Donald Trump have anything to do with any of our plays. Donald Trump doesn't have money to do anything with any of our plays because he's spending so much money on lawyers and paying off massive debts. He can't invest anywhere. Elon isn't that cool. He just isn't. So yeah, he's anything below like $40 billion, he's just not going to pay attention to it. So he doesn't have the brain space. He's playing too many, like, what's the game he likes to play? Is like Jewel Breaker or something like that. I don't know, he plays some phone game all the time, and I don't know what he's doing otherwise. N9, why is Jake always defending Pulte for how smart the guy is? He finds it easy to look past all the shady shit with there's a Pulte. Pulte has his place. I personally think that what he's looking for is people to help him do a proxy fight on Pulte Homes. That he wants the company his grandfather founded back under control by the family name. And I get the urge, right? I understand that. It's your family's legacy. And, some good may come of him buying shares or buying bonds in plays that we make. I get that. I just, he puts on a kind of a boring party. if I were a billionaire, I'd put on a way better party. But he's got his thing. He's got his interests. I personally just would rather stay an arm's length away. It just doesn't interest me. I went to Miami. I met things. I sat there. I was like, this is not my jam. Oh, is everybody piling up here? Goodness gracious. Baby cat tail karaoke. I was going to lay down right there. Okay, so I've got a pile of animals now. Oh, nope. Going up on the... No, don't climb on the keyboard. You can go right there. Okay. Don't drink my water. Okay. We're going to have a cat fight here. You can see... It's cats. All right. Well... We got WrestleMania going on the desk here. I'm going to push the keyboard in so they don't step on it and then make the show go away. But, I think Jake's Canadian. I don't know how up to date he is on U.S. politics and things, and he probably just sees Pulte as sort of, a vessel in which to get information out. And I get that. I get the urge. I just, I can do my own show. I'm fine. And 9, you're the only one not left in Pulte's pocket. There's a couple of us. There's people that are a little more angry about it. I just, I see what he's trying to do. I get it. It's just not for me. I wouldn't say that I'm like, no, I'm not going to go to a Pulte event again. That's not for me. Rose Moon. Hi, Houston. Been a while. I've been so busy, but whatever happened to the Michael mystery packages? They're still right there. The starter's out in the car. I have not been able to pile them into the car to go ship them, and I need to ship them so bad. I still have last month's Cherry Tuesday gift needs to go out, and I haven't had a message yet from oh crap, I didn't write it down. Who the hell was the winner? It was Michael. Michael. Crap. It was. I can't believe I didn't write it down. Mark Wood. That was the winner. Mark Wood. Duh. Mark Wood, you were the winner. Please write that down. Mark Wood, number 1. Circle that 5 times. Okay. Yes, Mark Wood. Send me your deets, and we will find out what's in the package. We'll do the unboxing of it. So, I'm a monkey. I'm a mess at all times. You're just gonna sit there and stare at the cats licking each other. Seriously, there's just a lot of grooming going on right now of the little kitten. Old man's grooming the cat. Come on, get back over there. Step on the keyboard. You are soaking wet. That cat has made you... You are covered. Absolutely covered in cat spit right now, little kitten. It is incredible. Okay. Where was I? Scott Pollen. About to dig into my storage area and pull out old Pokemon cards. Get some graded at GameStop. Always knew saving them would be fun all over again. Never would have thought about grading cards, though I have submitted some old coins to be graded. Price point at GameStop for pro members is ultra competitive. Noted. Marcella Giordano. Hello, Houston. Hi. Why, Tyler, my thumbs are fucking raw from twiddling. RC needs to hit the red button on BBY soon, or the whole community will turn on his ass. Kais will lead the FUD train to hell. Oh, Kais is... That dude needs to go to rehab and probably get some Thorazine. That's what I'll say at this point. Murphdrift Studios. What is the effect of outer space on the human body? Is there a difference from a hole in a spacesuit versus getting sucked out of an airlock? Any movies that get it right? There's a few movies who get it pretty good, and TV shows too. Firefly did a really great job with the silence in space. They did it cinematically really well, which they've had a hard time doing in movies because they always like to hear the jets go, but there's no sound in space. You don't eat that. So, hey, don't drink my water either, especially with your spit covered head. How about you go over here? You go right there. Bam. Fat guy, you come here. Oh, you're so huge. You go there too. Bam. Okay, everybody's over there. And so yeah, Firefly did a pretty good job with that. There was a couple instances like the Cylon Raiders and stuff made noises in space in the latest version of Battlestar Galactica, but there was a couple episodes where, there was no sound. And like I remember one where they blew up what they call it, the church or whatever. That was the factory for more Cylons, and you're hearing the things tink off the stealth shuttle they made, and it was very accurate because there's like no sound other than the things when they bounce off the shuttle. So what happens with the body in space? There's a lot of things that happen in 0G. when you go into space, you leave the atmosphere, and our atmosphere blocks a lot of really harmful particles. They get blocked by the Van Allen belts, the magnetic fields. So a lot of them are charged, hit those things, and they get sent to the North or South Pole as a result. They burn up in the atmosphere. So they come in, they hit another particle in the atmosphere, and they can rip apart. They can have decay when they hit the atmosphere. So here, having a nice atmosphere and a magnetic field blocking things is really good for humans. Otherwise, we'd be getting bombarded with horrible radiation all day long. And on the moon, you don't have a magnetic field and you don't have an atmosphere, so you can get bombarded with things. Out in outer space, if you're orbiting the Earth, you have a little bit of magnetic field, but you don't have an atmosphere. You've got the shuttle or the space station, whatever you happen to be in, and there's you can get your DNA stripped by these charged particles. So you want to have lots of shielding, right? That's fun. When you're in 0G, your circulatory system relies a lot on gravity. So it expects gravity is going to draw a lot of blood down to your feet and have to spend a lot of energy pumping it back up. So your heart and your system is designed to pump a lot of stuff away from your lower extremities. So you can have swelling in different parts of your body that are normally above, up from gravity. You can have your spinal fluid, which is connected to your cabeza, will pool inside of your head and bulge your eyes. And when it bulges your eyes, it flattens the lens, so you can start going blind. Not being under constant gravitational pressure causes bone density to evaporate permanently. You'll lose about 5% of your bone density for every month in 0G that you are in. And they try to stave that off by, adding calcium to the diet, by, simulating gravity. They'll put rubber bands on you and you do lots of squats to simulate like you're in gravity, or trying to walk on a treadmill with rubber bands, so that you fool your body into thinking that you're in a gravitational environment. And that can help mitigate. The big one is the osteoporosis and the blindness, because someone goes up to the space station for a year and come back down, you are going to be spending months in rehab. You're going to need glasses. You're going to be essentially blind, and you're going to be like a little old lady in the bone department. So yeah, as far as getting a hole in your spacesuit, it depends on how the space is. Is it self-contained, or are you tethered? If you're tethered, you can deal with a little bit of hole, losing some oxygen because you have more coming in and whatnot. If you are self-contained and lose oxygen, you will, I don't know if you necessarily explode when you get to the end, but you'll probably freeze to death before you have a chance to explode. But yeah, it'll eventually suck all the oxygen out of your lungs and you'll die that way. Gravity did a pretty good job with sort of physics in space. They had some Hollywood leeway, like getting something into orbit takes an incredible amount of energy. Changing the orbital path of an object takes just as much energy, which is why you want to get things down, launch as close to the equator as you can. Because at the equator, you can pick any orbital path you want, and you don't have to expend the extra energy. Whereas if you're doing launches higher up, like Russia does, it's best to just only do a polar orbit because it takes so much energy to try to get into other orbits. So like Sandra Bullock trying to get from one space station to a Chinese space station to a Soyuz capsule or whatever, is really takes a lot more energy than what they kind of inferred that you could just do a fire, and because you're going 17,000 miles an hour this way, and to get to go 17,000 miles an hour this way is an incredible amount of energy. Those are like the Hohmann transfers and things like that. That's a lot. But the effects of a little speck of a nut off of a satellite hitting you at 17,000 miles an hour, that stuff is very accurate. It would put holes through people, holes through ships, whatnot. So what that's called Kessler syndrome is when you have enough objects break apart in lower orbit that they start shredding everything apart, and before long, it is nothing but just this giant field of ballistics traveling 17,000 miles an hour in orbit, and you can't launch anything to space after that. Because the only way to get things into space will be have huge armoring. And huge armoring takes a whole bunch of weight, which takes a whole bunch of energy to launch, and that's not ideal. You want as little armor as possible, so things light and you can get stuff into space more easily with your engines. So yeah, that's, I guess, I'd say. Kitten, what are you doing over there? Don't eat the packages. People need to. I know I need to mail that stuff. I know, this box. It's amazing. All right, cuddle puddle. Lobi, don't talk about anything important right now. There's a show going on behind you. WrestleMania is amazing, isn't it? I tell you one, is Elon Musk needs to be fired into the sun. Elon could be violating gaming laws and election laws right now. I don't know if you've seen, he's giving people $47 to sign some sort of petition. That essentially is like, I promise to vote for Trump. And giving away $1 million prize a day to those same people through a random raffle, which is violating Pennsylvania law at the moment. And to give cash to people for their vote is also against the law. He's being investigated by the Michigan Attorney General. He might be in some deep doo-doo election-wise, facing some serious campaign finance felonies. Also, his super PAC, as awful as Citizens United is, allowing basically unlimited dark money into campaigns, the one thing they say is a super PAC that's for a candidate and the candidate themselves must have a wall. They cannot talk to each other. They cannot confer. They cannot plan. You just have to be like, I'm going to support this guy, but I will never talk to him while the election's going on. And Trump and Elon have been doing campaigns together, and it's very obvious they've been coordinating while Elon is running a $100 million super PAC to try and get Trump elected. So he's committing some serious campaign finance felonies here. So, that and he's been propagating the election bogus stuff about Dominion. And Dominion, who just kicked the crap out of Fox News, is kicking the crap out of OAN and the other news networks that propagate that stuff. They're like, well, maybe we'll own Twitter. So go get them, Dominion. Kitten, what are you... Oh my gosh. Buddy. Come on, you little boxes. The boxes are amazing. Oh, go that way. Chase by the dog somewhere. Okay, be nice. Okay. Just pure animal chaos at all times in this house. It's just like a farm. Yeah, did you not kill it? Good job. Okay. Stephanie L. Super Chats, think Kamala will take a different approach to the war in Gaza and the genocide if she wins? I think she's feigning being center to win votes. She is definitely feigning much more center to win votes, and it's backfiring on her. When she was pushing hard left in July, August, she gained a larger percentage of votes and has since tapered off some. I think if she pushed harder into that, she would actually do better election-wise. Because there's no point in trying to win over Republican voters, because the Republicans that are going to support you already support you because they don't like Donald Trump. You're not going to win Donald Trump people over. What you need to do is you need to focus on undecideds who are stupid. And so undecideds, the way you get undecideds on your side is you state policies that make their lives better. Healthcare for all. Tuition-free college. Getting rid of corporate ownership of housing. You start to push that stuff and they go, oh, actually, it's good ideas. And that's how you win them. You don't win them by, doing centrist neocon policies, because that crap they don't understand. They understand things that directly benefit them. And so you got to focus on that on the home stretch, I think. But I do think she's feigning a little bit of being in the center to win votes. at this point, I think it's a pretty good chance the Democrats maintain at least a 50-50 in the Senate. They might lose Tester in Montana, but I have a feeling they're going to gain in Nebraska and Florida, and maybe even Texas. So it might be like 51-52 in the Senate, and they're definitely going to clean house in the House. The big problem in 2022 was the New York Democratic Party somehow dropped the ball, and they've got a lot of seats flipped somehow, and they're taking them all back. And so the Democrats are going to lead in the House for sure. Likely 50-50 or 51-52 in the Senate, and then they're going to get the presidency. So they're going to have all three at least for 2 years. And the message that Walz, I think, instills in the campaign is you don't save political capital, you use it. When you got the power, you make those changes, you make the lives better for people as fast as you possibly can, and then you get on their good side and they go, wow, effective change. And that way they don't see government as this sort of useless bureaucratic nightmare. You get kids their free lunches. You feed them. You make sure people get their education that they need, whether it's through college or through trade schools. You make sure that the unions are strong, that people are getting paid well, that manufacturing is here in the country for national security purposes. You know, you gotta focus on those things and make sure that stuff happens. You can't neocon it and become like a corporate welfare Democrats who are like, I'm for gay marriage and for these giant billionaires screwing over their workers. It doesn't work that way. You gotta kind of tell the billionaire assholes and put them in their place and regulate them a little bit. I know they hate it. They're cool, but you know what? They're still going to be billionaires. Boo fucking who? I'm personally for, you make $1 billion. That's it. You just won capitalism. You no longer get to participate. You get a T-shirt that says "I win capitalism," and now you have to go and play with your money. If you're worth $200 billion and you're still working, fuck you. Get out. Let somebody else get the chance to go in and make their fortune. That's the way I see it. I wouldn't mind having 5% limits of ownership on all companies. Like if you're going to go public with a company, no entity, no single person can own more than 5%. That's it. That's it. I would get, and I would also probably get rid of index funds in general. I would make it so index funds could not invest in competing companies. That, you can't have BlackRock owning 7% of Wells Fargo, 7% of Bank of America, 7% of Citibank, 7% of JP Morgan, 7% of their competitor Vanguard, 7% of their competitor Jane Street. Like, you should not be allowed to own pieces of all your competitors and then have them own you, and then you're just basically one company. I would get rid of that stuff too. We are facing a very strange index fund bubble that I don't know if we'll recover from. I get the index funds. I'm invested in index funds. They just go up over time because if you invest in everything goes up over time. But the problem is we have so many index funds now and they all own each other that it's basically just one company. And that is not healthy for anybody. You need competition. You need to weed out the weaklings, empower the strong stuff, and we need someone to look at these things and go, maybe this isn't right. Maybe we should make Lena Khan the head of the SEC next, and then have one of her, acolytes run the FTC now. I think we need a little firmer grip on the billionaire class in this country. Once you make $1 billion, you're set. You're making, even in really passive terms, at 5% a year, you're making $50 million a year to play with. Cash. Not counting what you borrow against and whatever else. Just in like dividends and annuities. So that's like the weak side. If you're in heavy dividend stocks, you could be making, a couple $100 million a year. So, you win capitalism. Invest in your passive stuff. You're no longer allowed to be an active investor, and go from there. Let everybody else sort of get their pieces. There. That's my form of capitalism. where was I? Okay. Scott Pollen, Murph and Turf did that one. Marcella Giordano. Happy birthday. The amount of MAGA types involved BBY is the only thing that has me second guessing this play. You and Hey Ross are a beacon of sanity and the crazy. Thank you. I think if you're just involved in investing in general, you're going to find more folks on that side of things in general. Like, I wouldn't mind having a pile of money. Why? Because selfish reasons. I want to travel. I want to see the world. I want to have fun. That's it. Right? I want to be able to do good when I do good. And that's my hope. I want to take this dog to like 30 different countries and go have fun. Hey, kitten. And go have fun and take my family with me and my friends and not have to worry about like, oh man, I'd really love to go on that ski vacation. I'm going to have to start saving a bunch of money and make my life suck right now for it. I'm tired of that. I've been doing that for, my entire life. There are folks who are in these plays and they want money because they've got the greed monster in them. And that's all they care about. And they just want money, 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 money. And those folks tend to, skew more towards the deregulate everything, support Trump because he's the god of greed, and that doesn't fit with me. So, having cash affords you some freedom. Don't drink my water. Come on. Yeah. Go scratch your little face until it just pops off your head. Yes. Go back up there. Scott Pollen. White Tyler, nobody owes you the BBY play. It was a lottery ticket on a crapshoot, and if it works out, great. If not, it was always a long shot. Zero hero, that's what it is. Taking one to Super Chats. Lena Khan is the greatest bureaucrat since probably ever. At least the greatest bureaucrat in the last 30 years or so. She's using the FTC for what it's for, and that needs to happen. Taking oneness, liar. You want to fight against the woke mind virus and be Elon 2.0. Oh, that woke mind virus. It's contagious. It arrives through books, so you better keep the books away. Gotta burn them all. Oh my God, cat. This kitten is a little cuddle monster. Worries here. They're 38th. Alex Bishop, Houston. I started learning cybersecurity. I'm very excited about it. Very interesting. I took it as a personal project over the long Canadian winter. All right. Are you doing classes in that? Or just eat you up? Are you doing classes in doing a degree in cybersecurity? Learning all about how we're all terrible at it. And you just go, it's amazing everything's been hacked by now. So, yes. Oh, you're such a little freak. Sorry, kittens are so distracting. They're just little cuddle mushes. Alex Bishop, what do you think the West would do now that North Korea is sending troops to fight in Ukraine? I mean, two things are going to happen to North Korean troops in Ukraine, and one is already happening, which is they're defecting like crazy. They don't want to go. They even bombed out Ukraine appears better than back home, and they're like peace. And so you have a lot of deserters happening, a lot of defections happening. And two is they're going to get eviscerated in the front lines, just like Russian soldiers. Russian soldiers are about to cross 700,000 dead. 681,000 today. At the start of the campaign, February 22nd, 2022, there were 500,000 members of the Russian military. They've killed 680,000 of them. Meaning, if you join the Russian military in 2022, there's almost a 100% chance that you're dead. Almost every single person who was conscripted in the fall of 2022 is dead. All 300,000 of those. You cannot. Russia does not have the population it did even 80 years ago during World War II to sustain meat waves. They don't have the people. because when they opened up to the rest of the world, anyone with means left. Anyone with brains figure out a way to leave. And so you're left with drunks, the poor, folks who can't afford to have children, folks who can't attract. If you were an attractive woman in Russia, you have the best way to get out, which is enticing a foreigner to marry you. So you're leaving. So birth rates have collapsed. The lifespan on average, even pre-war, for men especially, was like 52 years or something ridiculous like that, because of the alcoholism and the hard living. So they don't have the population to sustain the meat waves they've been sending, and just hoping that Ukraine runs out of bullets. That's how they beat the Germans. Was the U.S. gave Russia a whole bunch of military equipment in World War II, and the Russians just sent tens of millions of people to get shot until the Germans ran out of bullets, because the German industrial capacity could not keep up. But Ukraine is getting bullets from all over the world. So the entire globe's bullet capacity is refilling Ukraine at all times. And so you're not going to run out of bullets in Ukraine. So their hope is they get Trump in there, who stops sending the bullets. And that's it. That's the only way Russia can defeat Ukraine is with a Trump victory. So kind of went off tangent there. But I personally think that if Russia can put foreign troops from a foreign army into Ukraine, then Ukraine should be allowed, to have foreign militaries participate on their side as well. So someone was very angry the last time I pointed this out. I'm totally fine with sending 1,000 F-35s to just zot the entire Russian front line and leave. They're like, oh, you're expanding the war. The war is expanding anyways, man. Putin's goal is to take over Eastern Europe, just like the Soviets did. He wants to be Stalin. He wants to rebuild it. He wants to be better than Stalin. He wants to take even more than what Stalin took. So the only way you can stop that is to kick its ass. You can't be like Chamberlain and be like, okay, just the Czech Republic, no one else. And then Hitler goes, totally, right? No, you can't do that with these guys, because their brains are broken. They got no frontal lobes. They have no conscience. They're cluster B personality like crazy, and they're hell bent on world domination. And Putin's getting older, which means he's getting more desperate to complete his ambitions before he dies. He wants that legacy, and you're probably going to see him get more desperate because his military has no skills left. Anyone with skills is dead, or is a general that's like pilfering the military of its supplies for cash so they can maintain their luxury yachts in the Mediterranean. It's going to be a mess. It's going to get messier before it gets better. That's for sure. Adam Davey. There are reports that Tesla is thinking of using aluminum-ion batteries in 2025 version of Model Y. Thought GMG was way out in front of this. Is Tesla stealing from them? I'm sure Tesla could steal from them very easily because they've got the money to develop the tooling to be able to build those graphene batteries. It was very expensive for GMG to do it. I think Bosch was who got the contract to build the graphene machines. Graphene is very hard to make. You make these layers and then put the aluminum purities in them and so on. But it is, so far, the problems GMG has run into is scaling up their manufacturing to be able to make, scaled cells for a larger battery for like a car. Right now their cells are kind of like the size of a watch face, and they need to make larger cells and more of them and get the production up, which is what they're working on. I don't know if Tesla would be able to get enough of them to put it into the 2025 version of their car. There are some factories doing graphene batteries at a fairly decent scale, but I still don't know if it's big enough to start doing for cars yet. You're going to need a lot more manufacturing infrastructure produced. I still think it's probably, in order to be in lots of cars, probably 2027. That's kind of what Toyota's looking at for their solid state batteries. And solid state batteries are going to be a godsend because you will no longer have to worry about the fires with them. They'll charge like 10 or 100 times faster. They hold 10 times more charge. And you'll start getting 1,000 mile ranges, 2,000 mile, 3,000 mile ranges out of these things. Hey, creatures, monkey, come back. Don't smush the packages I got to mail. I don't want to repackage them. Okay? I know you want to play with the kitten. I know. She's just so much fun. Stir alert. But you are right. I don't know about what, but sure. Adam Davey, I'm also buying more No Labs, but getting kind of nervous about them. Give me some hopium. I say listen to the call on Friday. Let's see what they talk about. I think Ron has some desires to creatures. Monkey, over there. Over there. Kitten. Quit being attractive for a plaything. Okay. Nope. Leave it alone. Leave it alone. Yeah. Go into there. Go into the ottoman and then hide there. I think Ron's gonna cover a lot of bases on Friday. Monkey, leave it alone. It's just constant, just battles. The battles never end, and then I get distracted, and then more battles. All right, Ron's going to talk about a bunch of stuff on Friday. I bet they're going to talk about the joint venture agreement they have over the steering wheel thing, and about making compliance on the New York Stock Exchange, and hopefully they'll give us a little more concrete info as to when to expect the FDA application to be submitted. Those are my hopes. That's on Friday. Snort alert. Adam Davey, Elon Musk is making promises to hold the stock price up. He rarely delivers on them. Remember the Hyperloop. That is also a very true thing. His big unveiling of the Tesla robotaxi, and he had a bunch of the robots come out. The robots were not autonomous. They were not using AI like they were talking about. It was actually being some dude in a lab somewhere was. Each individual robot was a human being. So these folks were talking to the robot. They're like, oh, wow, this AI is talking back to me. That was a dude in a lab talking to them. Asking them questions. It wasn't AI. So he's got a history of some things. Like when he came up with his first Tesla car, apparently they took a Mercedes chassis and just put their car on top of it and then pushed it out. And we're like, look at this car. Because they weren't even close to manufacturing. They get there eventually on a lot of things. But the problem is that they've not been doing what normal car companies do, which is rejuvenating their lineup, and they need to do that. The Tesla Model S's, that design is 10 years old, 11 years old. It's time to move on. You need to update those lines. You do not see very many car companies have their entire lineup never have a facelift or a new model come out, rebranded model. You just don't. I think even Porsche 911s, like the Porsche design has been pretty standard since the 356 days in the 1950s. But even then, they update bumpers and headlights and the rear end, and they shift the weight of the engine around. They do little things like that. Tesla has not done any major design upgrades at all, and they really need to focus on that. The robotaxi, if it has the same FSD system as their cars, is not going to work because it's all optical. They don't have the LiDAR and the radar that like Waymo has, and not having that is causing lots of issues with FSD. There's videos of like families getting run over and just things that there's a lot of work that needs to get done, and their car's not ready for that. So they're they got their permits to start testing, and I'm not too confident that they're actually ready for that, or they've got the manufacturing capacity to start making the cars for those taxis. Also, a 2-seater robo-taxi kind of defeats the purpose of a taxi. Like, hey friends, let's hop in this taxi and go to dinner. Oh, we need to get like 4 taxis. Okay. You want to be able to store luggage. You want to be able to, get your friends all piled in there. It's just, I just don't see it happening too soon. Treetop, what happened to using graphene for batteries? That stuff is still getting production up, and they're still designing them. So yeah, there's lots coming that way. And the sodium-ion batteries are also pretty cool. Those ones also don't catch on fire, have faster charge times, hold more charge, etc. Lithium is going to be a thing of the past. So when you see all these like crazy conspiracy theories like the hurricane machines were going to North Carolina because there's a bunch of lithium there and they need the homeowners to go away to get the lithium. Dude, there's more lithium in Nevada than there is in North Carolina. And there's nobody in Nevada, and most of Nevada is BLM land anyway you can stake claims on. Also, lithium is going away. In 2 to 5 years, lithium batteries are going to be a thing of the past. The entire lithium industry is going to collapse because it's an inferior product that is highly volatile and can catch on fire and cause problems. You know, all the lithium batteries in people's e-bikes and e-scooters and stuff keep burning houses down because the trickle charger breaks down and then they catch on fire and then they burn an apartment building down. Or, you know, these things, we can do away with it and have much better systems. I'm not even to the start of the show yet. Holy smokes. Stephanie L. Average turnaround for time for FDA FDA application to FDA approval. Depends. Devices are generally much quicker than drugs. Because drugs, the FDA has to do independent testing on their effects and chemistry and everything like that. With devices, oftentimes you can submit your independent already conducted independent studies as for the certification process, and they can look at it and go, okay, we understand the study, we see how it works, we see the video footage, the data, whatever, good for us. They don't necessarily have the need to redo their own studies at that point, so it can go a little quicker. Okay. I'm so far behind the chat today. Matthew Bennett, happy birthday. Tell us doom and gloom scenario for climate migrations. Thanks. What you're probably going to see is folks in a lot of places in the tropics have to bail. And a lot of people that are in what are desert climates now also have to bail for two reasons. One, the heat domes are getting so large, the temperatures are getting so hot, it just becomes impossible to live. You just can't do it. You're gonna need spacesuits and crap to live in Phoenix in the near future. And two, the climate change is bringing huge flood events to a lot of places much more often, and those flood events are deadly. The cost is insane. Like, just look at the flooding that's happened in Italy and France in the last week, right? Or the flooding that happened in Roswell this weekend. Roswell got 6 months worth of rain in 3 hours. Why? You had two heat domes. One over the Midwest, one over the American West, pretty close to each other. And then you had a tropical storm hitting the Yucatan and Belize, sucking a bunch of moisture up between these two heat domes from one low pressure to another, and then you had a whole bunch of warm moisture coming off the Pacific, off the Mexico side, and these two systems hit each other and got squeezed between the heat domes, and it forced them to basically push the clouds really high, which caused them to supercool really quickly, which caused them to condense really fast and drop a bunch of rain. So you can expect like a storm system that would normally cover, say, 200,000 square miles, right? Big storm system gets squeezed into this narrow alleyway and forced to go up, which causes a lot more of that water vapor to condense and drop. So they got 7 inches of rain in Roswell in 3 hours. That's the type of rainfall that can permanently destroy communities, especially if it happens twice a year. Right? You're going to have to reinvent the entire infrastructure to handle that. And, you got populations of 50 or 100,000 people somewhere. It is really, really, really hard to uproot and make sure every home and building can handle getting 7 inches of rain in 3 hours twice a year. You've got cities in Sicily and in Italy and France that have been around for 600 years that have never seen flooding like this. And it's destroying these ancient structures that have never had the water levels at where they are. They never had the rivers peak at the heights they've had them peak. And we're going from, one summer is nothing but drought, where we have the lowest water levels in these rivers ever seen, to the next summer, flooding, where they're having the highest water levels ever seen. Humans can't adapt to that. It's just the storms and the drought are destroying our food crops. We're going to face food insecurity in a lot of places as a result, especially combine that with like wheat production collapsing in Ukraine, one of the breadbaskets of the world. We're going to see starvation in poorer regions because they can't go out in the markets and buy the food that they need, especially if their crops are failing themselves. So the subsistence farmers are out. We're right now we're seeing like crazy prices on olives because huge fires in Spain, Portugal, Italy, Greece. They're just wiping out the olive crops because the trees are all burning down. So you got to go to the grocery store and you see like, oh my goodness, like 64 ounces of olive oil is $100. This is insane. It used to be $14, right? Because all the olive trees are gone. They burned up. So there's no crops. So you're getting like, you got some coming from California, maybe some coming from like Peru, a little bit from North Africa. But olive oil prices are insane right now because half the world's producers are gone. So yeah, we got a lot of doom and gloom coming. A lot of places that were stable climates that people thought would be doing okay. Asheville was named as like one of the best places to go during climate change. Well, they just got 40 inches of rain from a storm and wiped out the city, right? So people are going to have to move north. They're going to have to move to places where sea level won't affect them, where there's no floodplain that'll affect them, right? Because you don't know what these storms are going to do. I'm very curious to see. We're coming into La Nina, which means the jet stream generally starts pounding the western United States, but the ocean levels are still relatively warm. So I want to know what type of rainfall to expect from our storm systems this year when we get the Pineapple Expresses that come in. Is it going to be really, really, really warm tropical winds, and we're not going to get much snow, but we're going to have insane rainfall all winter, or what? I don't know. It's it's going to be a mess, whatever, regardless. Okay. Did that one. I did that one. Did that. Keegan Murphy, happy birthday. Have you ever seen a hippo poop? Funny. Not in person, but on video, yes. Yes. That's basically what happens. Jizz Mammy, boy, did that McDonald's skip backfire. So many memes. So many funny memes out of that. Oh my gosh. Can I read? Happy birthday, Houston. So markets red due to 10-year, 3-month treasury yield having warning signs, recession. We've been having weird inversions happen on that like 3 times so far, and it's been defying the odds. So whatever the Fed is doing right now is like, maybe they found a temporary magic bullet or something. The economy's got to hold up for another 3 weeks, 2 weeks, and then election day hits, and we go, oh, I guess we're done. But it's like hanging on with its fingernails at the moment. Kelly Reed, Canada's most likely going to cut 0.5% on Wednesday. Buckle up, beavers. It's a big cut, and we'll see if interest rates actually drop. They did the 0.5 point cut in September here, and mortgages went up. So, I mean, that's what happened in 2008. They did that cut, and interest rates went up as well then. Okay, the chat just reset, so I lost where I was. And I'm so far behind anyway that I don't know. Okay, so that one, look at the 5%. Beavers are long on wood, says Luis Gonzalez. Bad news, I had to liquidate everything in my broker app to prioritize the household. Sigh. Starting all over like in 2020. It happens, man. That's why I wish this this thing could have finished so much sooner because people are in those problems. Their savings are running out. The prices have gone up. So, and maybe not their wages have not gone up in the same price, same rate. They got health scares, health tragedies, deaths in the family, need to move. Like, there's the one thing taking 4 years for this play to work out is that people start to get whittled off. There are a couple folks that were admins or moderators in my chat I haven't seen in years because they've had family health tragedies, right? They're gone. Get It Got. I don't know what happened to Get It Got. Haven't heard from him. I know he had like a tragedy in the family, and probably it was expensive, and perhaps had to liquidate. And it's just, I feel for the poor guy. This play has taken longer than the Civil War, longer than World War II. Like, come on, just lickety split. It only took 16 months from the concept, design, and completion of construction to build the Pentagon, the largest office building in the world. 16 months. We need that kind of fire under butts. Billionaires, they got all the time in the world. They aren't suffering. If they got a health scare, they got all the money to take care of the medical expenses and things like that. The average retail investor, they don't have that. So, like, fire under the butts, man. Come on. I feel for you, Felice. Scott Pollen knew the McDonald's thing was staged the second I looked at the floor. Ain't nobody ever been in Mickey D's with a clean floor. McDonald's in full on damage control now. GDC. Does that Mickey D's franchise owner not get spanked by corporate for getting political? No, they'll be fine. What the franchise owner should have done was talked about how they make more money each quarter than Trump digital media. Mick Batista. Happy birthday, Houston. You're the only thing keeping me sane through the play and election. Well, thank you. Hoping polls are just as fake as Trump working at McDonald's. Well, Tyler, Scott, I know us BBY stockholders aren't entitled to anything, but the lack of transparency and RC being countlessly reiterated on BBY dockets has many in the community lead to think RC is in on it. I think RC is in on it. I think he bought up all the bonds, and he is the dip and Philo. We just got to wait for the play. And I just want it to be done now. Michael Harrow, Houston, you should have an intro for the Forgetting the Raffle. Just me going, duh, duh. Yeah, that should be that. Corporal Walnut, I am really supposed to believe that Donald Trump is at McDonald's and Ryan Cohen unveiled the secret plan in Teddy books. People are really dumb. I mean, I think both. He was at McDonald's, although it was a stage McDonald's. And I do think that he likes to put little Easter eggs in things. He said in that interview in 2022 that he enjoys putting Easter eggs in things for people to try and solve the puzzles. I do think that he enjoys that. Michael Tucker, maybe Kamala will serve at Taco Bell today. She endorses a full run on the border. Ha ha ha. Luis Gonzalez. Only way Mickey D's can become respectable again is if and when they bring back the Cinnamelt, or when they bring Cinnamelt back. Cooper Houston, 9 minutes late to the show. Well, I am an hour and 15 minutes behind in the chat anyway, and I'm almost done here. Driving north on west shore of Great Lakes, Gitchagumi, Superior. Discuss the black light responsive mineral discovered in the shores here. Euperite. So someone was out with a black light on the beaches of the Upper Peninsula, and there's a rock that fluoresces. Oops, I don't want to change that one. I want to go Euperite. Michigan's Euperites. Euperlites. Here we go. So these guys, they got little bands of little fractures in. I can't remember what sodalite. That's right. So it's syenite and fluorescent sodalite that's in these rocks, and they glow. So you can walk the beaches with a black light, and they'll stick out. That's not a black light though. Show one on a beach. Okay, that's one of people's hands. I want to see. Oh, but just walk the beach of the Upper Peninsula and along Great Lakes with black light at night, and they'll glow. And you can do the same thing. I do it with diamonds. You can go to like diamondiferous areas in Colorado, Montana, Wyoming, and you can go to like anthills and in like the kimberlite pipes with black lights, and they'll pop up. Also, you'll find really cool plants that do it too, that fluoresce. And like, why is this flower glowing at me under the black light? Yeah, I need to get more UV lights because they've all like rusted since the last time I used them. But you can get pretty good UV lights off of like Amazon that you can use. So I recommend that. All right, I am at the end of the day. Probably a show on Wednesday. Depends on when the starter. I ordered the starter. Depends when that arrives. Wednesday might be a pretty good day for me to replace the starter on the car. So if I do a show, it probably might be late. But if the starter doesn't arrive, then, probably a normal show. If any cool news happens tomorrow, maybe I'll jump in, do a show. Thanks for joining me. I'm sorry I missed an hour and 16 minutes of chats here. But, Friday I got to in the chat like 3 times. Today, you guys way out chatted me. So, yeah. Fred Jones, Houston came in. Did you give away charity today? Yes, Mark Wood is the winner. I need to hear from Mark Wood as to his address so I can do the unboxing. I don't know if he's watching today or not. Anything messages? Nothing from Mark Wood there. So hopefully he'll back before the next show and we can do the unboxing and I can ship it and get all that stuff done. All right, everyone. Have a great day. I will catch you on the flip side. Oh, there's Mark Wood. Yeah, Mark, send me your address and we will do the unboxing and I'll ship that, whatever that is, off to you. So, fantastic. Everyone have a great day and I'll catch you later. All right, fat cat, dog.